The churches are catered to women. The sermons shame men and pamper women.
Look at that. Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one for you. So I realize that there's still a small percentage of you guys who still want to try and get married and have kids, right? And guys, some of you even think that you should go to church to meet a nice church girl, and that'll be the best place to look. And for all you guys who believe that,
you've been had, you've been took, you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
not only is a modern church the final form / resting place for all these OF chicks and 304s, but guys, the modern church is the last place where you want to find chicks because it is the most gynocentric, misandrous, man-hating organization on the planet. Guys, it pumps these chicks' heads up, right? And acts like they're all great and good, and us men are the problem. Imagine twisting the Bible, which is the most patriarchal document that there is, to where it makes chicks think that they're not the problem and men are. Absolutely insane. Guys, you have all these trad cons. You have Pastor Porkchop, right? And he wants nothing but single chicks and single moms in his church because they put the most in the collection plate. And of course, all these Stradicons hate on us men, right? A man of God will take on this single mom and her bastard children. A man of God will take on this chick and her $90,000 in student loans. A man of God will marry a woman with the herp derp. Clown world. Guys, some of these church chicks are so delusional. And they reach super delulu level that you can only find that from chicks in the church. So guys, we're going to go to the dumpster fire on TikTok and look at some of these absolute dunderheaded broads, right? That talk about the church and how they're women of God and blah, 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 and how it's all men's fault. So guys, we'll get into this. Before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Guys, I have a second channel called 50304s. That is linked in the description. Please go and check that out. Join my Discord. Check out the playlist at the end. And as I'm offering memberships now, so hit the join button or the link in the description because memberships really help the channel out. So thanks to all you guys who are already members, and let's get into this.
The church is keeping Christian women single, and this is why there are so many Christian single women at the church, literally single for years, not getting married, not getting any type of dates, not getting any type of attention. While they are serving at church, they're doing all the right things on paper. They might be in great physical shape. They might have their healing journey all, through and through. They're doing the inner work. They're doing all that. They are focused. They are focused on Christ. They've been focused on Christ for years. They have been doing the things that people have been telling them to do for years, yet they're still single, have no candidates, have nobody looking in their direction. Let me tell you something. The church does not teach Christian women how to date. The church does not teach Christian women to date at all. What they tell us to do is to sit with our hands in our laps and to wait for a man to come at our door. That is not biblically wise. Faith without works is dead, and that applies to every area of our life. If you have a job and you lose that job, are you just going to sit and pray for God to send you a new job and then just stay at home and not apply for a single job? No. If you lose your job, you're going to pray, Lord, please bless me with another job. Of course, there's the faith, but then after that, you're going to go searching for a job. You're going to be applying for jobs, and you're going to pray that God will bless you with the right job. If all you're doing is sitting at home doing 1,000 prayers for your future spouse, you are fasting, you are praying, you're doing all these other things, but you're not actually putting any practical works into dating, more times than not, you are not going to find your spouse. The church is keeping Christian women single, and this is why there are so many Christian single.
So there it is, guys, right? So first of all, did you guys hear any practical advice, right? Did you hear her say, oh, you have to be fit, feminine, beautiful, inspirational, right? And guys, she did make some decent points, fine, but let's look at her comments. Look at this. It's because we have to date a man who's also Christian, and that's not very easy to find nowadays. To be blunt, most churches don't teach young men how to be godly men very well, if at all. So the men's ministries in most churches are terrified to touch on temptations and principles to aid men in their journey. Look at that. I also think we have a male discipline issue. So do you see, guys? All this man-hating and misandry. Look at this, guys. Absolutely insane. Now, guys, there's one point that she did make, but I bet she doesn't live it. Guys, women are supposed to make themselves available for men. Men shouldn't have to go hunting through the friggin' woods and friggin' caves to find a wife. Women are supposed to be out in the world so a man can find her. Look at that. And she's getting pushed back in her comments. Clown world.
The black church's focus is not on building families. It's about keeping women single, comfortable, independent.
There you go.
I said what I said. Just look at the numbers. The church is 70 to 80% single women. Yet the pastor want to sell these women this fairy tale, telling them that your Boaz is coming. Keep waiting, knowing good and well that there isn't any single men in the congregation. And that's low-key manipulation. Because the men aren't flocking to the churches because the churches are catered to women. The sermons shame men and pamper women. The programs be women brunches, women conferences, women's night. The churches know who paid the tithes.
Look at that.
The women. So they selling the women these dreams while cashing their checks. And let's be real. The men that are in the churches are either one, already married, gay, or looking for some silly woman to take advantage of. You gotta ask yourself, if the church is really about family, why is it full of single mothers, single women, and empty of men? Because the black church needs the women single, desperate, and waiting. Because if you had the family that you prayed for, then they wouldn't be able to control you.
I just said the same thing. And guys, Kevin Samuels said the same thing, right? And what did all these B-dubs say, right? The moment that he said that, they said,
I'ma kill your bitch ass, bitch!
No man in his right mind would ever go to church to find a chick, guys. This first comment says, and these chicks are in church, they're single and still having babies. This person here says Kevin Samuels said it and people criticized him for it. Facts. Look at that. Absolutely insane. This person says that, he says, my mother's church on Father's Day changed it to Happy Parents Day. Look at that, guys. Absolutely insane. Someone says the church is a government facility. Cooked. Absolutely cooked, guys. Clown world.
I'm almost afraid to make this video because I know it's going to be some backlash. But I'm starting to believe that the church is keeping black women single on purpose.
There you go.
I am starting to believe that the black church is keeping black women single. And what I mean by that is, I want to believe in my heart of hearts that when churches have Women's Day, have women's conferences, when you go to these women empowerment, conferences, and they are allowing people to be vulnerable and transparent, and they are sharing how they healed from certain things and how God's word helped them to heal, which is true. I'm trying to figure out why we are almost intentionally leaving out that God's word also says that a man is a woman's covering and a husband is part of, or should be part of, an honorable, godly life. None of that is ever mentioned in a lot of these spaces.
Of course not.
There are more women in the church than men. I don't have a problem with women being in leadership because that's needed today. But when I'm watching women that are in positions of power and in positions of leadership in the church, but I'm not hearing you talk about how important the family structure is and how important a covering is and how a woman is created to be a helpmeet and a neck and the man is supposed. When I don't hear those things talked about almost intentionally, is that because I want these women single? Am I the only one that is starting to feel this way?
See? Do I need to say more? And guys, us blacks, we are the canary in the coal mine. And I realize I haven't had the race card out this entire time. Let's break that out there, right? Guys, us blacks, we are the canary in the coal mine. And what happens to us first happens to you whites and you Asians or whatever second. Guys, this was an issue with us for the last 40 years, and now you're seeing it in all the white churches now, in the Asian churches, in the Hispanic churches, right? Guys, the pastor, has a Learjet and a brand new Escalade, and he knows that if he keeps these chicks single, he's gonna keep that Escalade payment coming in. The first comment says, so without single black women, the church will be 50 to 75% smaller. Someone says, who else is gonna pay their bills? And even this chick here says, there has to be more to life than having a man. Look at that, guys. Absolutely insane. Guys, man, and it's funny that these chicks are in her comments saying she's right, but that they're brainwashed by this feminism thing, and they're never gonna change. Guys, don't go to church to get chicks, right? All you'll find is single moms, the herp derp, student loans, and former OF chicks. But all right, you guys, this is AJ. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good one.